when you go out of your way to, and I think people overuse FUD and I get sick of it, but like when you go out of your way on your own to FUD eHEX, like why do you not understand that you're hurting the whole ecosystem? But let's look at actually the PulseChain ecosystem prices right now, because in addition to, so we just covered like Bitcoin and ETH and everything, we have some interesting things to really check out here. Because if you have been awake for any period of time for the last 48 hours, we have seen that HEX on ETH, eHEX, the classic, our first love, has been pumping hardcore. Just a mega green candle. The whole ecosystem, of course, pumped on like the fake Cointelegraph tweet. But I mean, this ecosystem has pretty much stayed up since then. And eHEX the most. I mean, it's up like 50%, I think, from the low practically. So we've had eHEX do that. What is going on here, Ewok? I got to ask you. I mean, like, is it one whale? Is it a couple of whales? Who's doing this right now is the first part of my question. Then I want to get back to how everybody has been hating on eHEX for months and months now. But yeah, what do you think is happening here? Why is it just mainly eHEX?
If you don't know or haven't heard, there is one particular whale that has slowly and quietly accumulated about 300 million eHEX within the past couple weeks or so. Now, these are dailies, so maybe it wasn't even that long, but they were buying very slowly, methodically, small buys, because there isn't a whole lot of liquidity right now. I mean, if you look at this, you only see there's 122 ETH and about 46 million HEX. Now, this is, I believe this is probably V2 on Uniswap. Yeah, it's Uniswap V2. So I'm sure there's others that have some, if you're using some sort of balancer or anything like that to search for the best the routes to buy. But anyway, this person has spent a lot more. The speculation was that they were out and not going to buy a whole bunch more. Possibly people are still afraid of the BankX sell, but you have to remember they only have 800 million. This guy just bought 300 within the last however many days. So there is money on the sideline. And if BankX decides to get out, people are really afraid of that. I don't think there's a need to be afraid of it. Whenever the adoption amplifier happened at the very beginning of HEX, the very first day, there was 1 billion HEX released. And then every day after that, for 362 or 3 days, there was 500 million a day. So the market absorbed that kind of volume, not really concerned about BankX dumping the price. In fact, I would welcome it to buy up some of those, nice discounts. But you can see what happens when there isn't a whole lot of liquidity. Now, as the price goes up, liquidity will get added. It's kind of a natural balance type thing. As people start to see more action, it will go up. Now, it'll come back down pretty fast too, but the green candles turn people into buyers instead of sellers. So, for the most part, and I just think that's what's going on. So there's one whale that's kind of been, like I said, accumulating slowly, putting this price up, and then there was just another 100 and some Ethereum moved into his wallet. So he's either preparing to buy more or preparing possibly to defend a price. So that's kind of what happens when you see some green candles like this. They reload and they defend the price that they bought at. They don't want to see it go below that, obviously, where they're in, where they're at a loss. They want to defend prices, and hopefully people continue to buy. And if not, then they'll buy more and create another green candle. And then they'll put more on the side, dry powder, to defend that price too. That's just kind of how the markets go at this point in the cycle. So I think that's where we're at. I think people are really nervous about an entity that can sell. But, as we've seen before, I think there's that whale or a couple whales with any coin that you have. and people
Yeah.
are, afraid of it for no reason, because Satoshi could sell, or
Right.
you've got the Binance coin that they own 95%, if not more, of their coin that they could dump. So there's always that situation in a market, in any coin, that somebody could dump. Now, will they? Who knows? But like I said, I would be happy to scoop up prices after we're seeing what's happening now. Um, I think it would create a nice little buying frenzy.
We don't any entity cannot stop the bull market like that, unless maybe you're like FTX and all the collusion that went on there trying to
Well,
suppress the
yeah,
BTC price under 20K. But yeah, this kind of entity, it's one of those things like as Rage Against the Machine would say, know your enemy. Like we know the Bank X entity, but in no way am I going to act as if like if you're somebody who's DCAing long term for this coming bull market, why are you going to worry about like what may or may not happen in this short term that much? I mean, I understand wanting to catch the bottom. You're never going to catch the nut bottom. The timing of all this big buy here makes a lot of sense to me, though. And not just because, I mean, we knew that 0.3 of a penny was like a major point of support for HEX, and it's been hanging out there for a few weeks. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, that price makes a lot of sense. But I think also the timing here, there's lots of different bullish things happening. This big buy comes in right when the ETF approval false tweet happens. I mean, everybody that isn't an idiot, I think, is starting to like see that the tide is turning here.
mhm.
The ship is just starting to, turn its mast a little wee bit and turn this whole thing around. It's going to take a while, but it's starting to go. And I think people are realizing that.
Yeah. Well, you look
So
back here, as at you mentioned the 0.003 level.
mhm.
It's intersected quite a few times, and I think we talked about this before, where back here in June of 2020, it actually was support. It went up, and then it broke through, and then it became resistance, and it became
Yeah.
resistance, and then it broke through again, and then it was support. So it's this level is a very critical, solid level, with a lot of current resistance right now. But hopefully, like I said, once we get through it, which we are, right now, we've busted through that, and we're up to the 0.004 level.
Yep.
Hopefully, we can come back down and maybe hit that as support and go on further. That would be
Yeah.
ideal situation for what we're looking at now.
Well, it would make a lot of sense too. I mean, just for how much this move has been, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
How crazy it's been. And what do you say also to some of the people? I mean, like, I wonder if anybody feels caught offside at this point. Maybe not yet, because we still have the two hexes having about a 2-to-1 difference here, which is closing the gap. It was more than that, but um, Hex on PulseChain is at about 0.8 of a penny, and then Hex on ETH obviously is at 0.4 now, a little bit above those numbers. But do you think people are going to start to feel offside? I mean, like, imagine if and when that gap actually closes, if we do ever see parity again, or if we do in this bull market. I mean, people, this is what I don't understand. Sami was talking about it the other day. Anybody with a brain, I think, understands this, but when you go out of your way to, and I think people overuse FUD and I get sick of it, but like when you go out of your way on your own to FUD eHEX, like, why do you not understand that you're hurting the whole ecosystem? Like, why make video after video after video saying that, a hex on Ethereum is dead and all this stuff? Like, when people, no matter what, and this is a great point Sami is making too, it doesn't matter how much we bitch about it. We're not going to get out of this, I don't think. But mainstream crypto people, at least not until maybe 2025, they're not going to stop retweeting and showing the eHEX chart to refer to this ecosystem.
Right.
They don't even know or care about PulseChain. They certainly don't care about PulseX. I don't even think they likely know that there's a hex copy on PulseChain. We all know all this stuff, and we know that, like, if we wanted to add up this whole ecosystem as still one token and look at a chart, we could. We see Axis Alive always tweeting out the combined hex price, which is cool to see. But you're not going to see those big channels, if and when they ever talk about hex, show anything other than the eHEX chart. That's what they're going
Right.
to do,
Right.
regardless of what anybody thinks. And like for marketing purposes, or like wanting people to get into the ecosystem, if they just see that, they're not going to like it. So that's why I think it's important that we do talk about this whole thing and stop anybody, if they ever were talking about hex on ETH, as being negative. Like nothing has changed. Nothing has changed with it. It's still an immutable smart contract that you can run just like you could any other time. There's been a stock split, and the money that had just been in HEX has kind of dispersed to the whole ecosystem. There's
Yeah.
still a whole new bull market to come. So I just don't understand why people are acting like something has changed on that. So I want to
Well,
hear
I'll
your
tell you.
thoughts.
I'll tell you why they're acting that way. It's because they decided that they would probably sell and move all into one. You know, people yell loudly about the bag that they hold the most, and
Right.
that's kind of how it goes. I got into it with somebody earlier in the week about, they were saying somebody that's been in the Hex community a long, long time from the very beginning, not really around a whole lot, well, streaming wise anyway.
Mhm.
But making comments about how eHEX is dead and this and that. And I know they were a big holder in the beginning. They were around then. And it just, I don't understand it either. Like, it is by all means probably going to be, like you said, the people, the influencers, the mainstream people will talk about Hex being eHEX. Um, and it's the closest to the off ramp. Well, that's why it
Mm.
sold one of the heaviest, probably, is because it was right there. Uniswap, boom, out to your account. And people get weird when it talks about bridging. And now that the Coast token is out, we do have a natural fiat on ramp, but we didn't have that. So
Right.
the things that are closer to the exit ramp are also closer to the on ramp. And you have to remember that when money comes in, some of these big whales, they hold Ethereum. That's what they hold. And it could go right back in just as easy it came back out. So to answer your question, I think we could close that gap with the ratio quite a bit. I would love to see it get back to 1-to-1.
Man.
I
Yeah.
think it would be
That'd be nuts.
amazing. And I think at that point, there will be a lot of liquidity that gets re-added to that pair, because why wouldn't you want to hold both? I mean, for that reason only, there's really not impermanent loss. If you like both coins and you put both sides in, you're going to have very little impermanent loss. And if you don't
Mhm.
care which one you hold, it's great for providing liquidity, because you're making fees on people bouncing back and forth. It's a great deal, I think. But again, we'd have to get to that ratio of 1-to-1 again. I think it would piss a lot of people off that said, it's got to die because, well, and I get it. Richard built PulseChain for the reason of the Ethereum fees being too high. Well, if you look at the gas prices recently, I think it's already done that. Now the bear market has contributed as well,
Mhm.
but we're looking at, like, even right now, it's like
Yeah, I
seven
know.
Gwei. So it's been crazy good recently. Um, and if they fix the fees, if they fix the problem, and it goes back to being not too bad, then what's the I don't know. I just don't get it. Again, I hate picking sides like that, because there's always a chance you're going to be wrong. When you keep both, you've kind of
You had your
gone,
bet.
you hedged it. Yeah, you hedged
Yeah.
everything by doing that, and you didn't really lose anything. So I don't know. That's just my opinion, but again, I would love to see it get back to 1-to-1 and just take off, and liquidity be provided to where it will peg it together, and keep it that way. Or the arbitrage bots will step in, and they could make some money off of it too. So that's just where I
Yeah.
see us going.
Yeah, and especially, why would you be hedging your bets and trying to be so fine about it? I mean, maybe because it's the bear market and everything sucks balls, but
Sure.
when you're expecting everything, I mean, look at the numbers that people throw out as far as like what they think this ecosystem could pump. I mean, the worst you'll see is like a 30x from here.
Yeah.
Why would you be so careful about what you're investing, try like only buying one or the other when you think the whole ecosystem is going to go up by that, amount.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand totally. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've been sitting here only DCAing into eHEX, but I straight up haven't done that at all. I've staked it all out basically since, this split happened and everything. But yeah, I just don't understand why you would be trying to be so fine with it. That's why we talked about this on last week's show. One of our clips came up the other day on our channel. We both have just talked about we want to own everything in the ecosystem. And I mean, like the core 4, basically, and own them equally. So that's kind of how I've been going about it. I don't know what merch. What's
merch by Andy? Can you elaborate on who won a T-shirt?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll take it.
Look,
oh yeah, there you go. I didn't even notice.
T-shirt, yeah.
There you go.
With the HEX.
There you go. Represent. Yeah, you got our T-shirt in the mail. Does it feel good? Is it rubbing your nipples too hard or anything?
Oh no, it's good.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Nice and soft.
The fine folks there are doing a good job with the T-shirts.
It's not silk or anything like that, but you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
We'll get by.
That's good.